Morning. So, yeah, employability and the issues that you have around employability and the apparent help and mindfulness employers, and that's what we discussed, or what I discussed in my last video. So today's going to be probably a little bit of a political rant in terms of funding as well, because from a personal experience, I think I said it, that when people say they recognise that there are problems, they don't. And what I've started to do, rather than just sort of gripe on about this, trying to put together a sort of an action plan. I'm trying to be proactive. I want to, in some respects, advocate for people like me. It's difficult because from my perspective, I'm coming in from the top down. So somebody who's either gone through school, diagnosed as Asperger or autistic, or someone in the late 20s, potentially for them there are avenues. But for someone who's, for the sake of argument, almost 50, it's a difficult scenario. And it's more, for me, it's more of from a therapy perspective and a counselling perspective. And it kind of just, it knocks you for six. Yes, you do have the thoughts of, so what, I'm Asperger, just move on, just get on with it. And then you get into a situation, we'll say. And then you start to analyse. And then you overanalyze, and then you look at your current life, and you think, "Wow, this is not something that you can just ignore. You can't ignore it. It's not. It doesn't go away. It does. Let's get one thing straight about autism. It doesn't go away. Yesterday, I was convinced that my partner of 30 years has some form of autism. So I made her do the autism quotient test, the AQ test. Very good test, 166 questions there are, cover everything, social aspects. I am very Aspie. She came out as neurotypical, which means she's not Aspie. She has social anxiety quotes, social avoidance issues, which I know she did, and that goes into a neurotypical life. She has certain compulsive traits, so she is quite obsessive in certain respects, but she puts that down to her environment. I've just put that down to her anxiety in terms of socialness, and that you want an element of control, and she's always been like that, but she's come back as neurotypical, which is quite strange because, yeah, me personally, I thought we were kind of a bit of an Aspie couple, so I was a little bit disappointed, but that's what happens, you see. You look at someone and think, yeah, and it's not always true. So some of the characteristics are there and some of them are not. So you might think to yourself, well, I'm a little bit anxious, and I'm bad in social situations. I have sensory issues. There is a very, very good autistic test that you can take, excellent one. It takes you a good 20 minutes. And they are simple sort of, if you don't know, you don't know. If it's a yes, it's a yes. Or it may be a yes a little, yes a lot, and then it's a definite no. And if I might post a link somewhere. So and actually it's not just good, like I'm saying with these videos, this is not all a selfish thing about people recognising autistics, awareness for autism and acceptance. It's not just all about that. This is about anyone recognising autistic traits or certain traits in themselves, and accepting neurodiversity. So I'll post a link somehow, probably in the comments section actually in this, because I'm not sure how you do it. It was actually one that was posted on something else. As you can see, I'm in a pretty good mood today. That's probably because I do a bit of volunteering today. So Thursdays is my volunteer day. So, yeah, I am going back to employability. I'm trying to be proactive, trying to put together a sort of a list of things that it can take to employers, because they are not up to speed with it. I've just applied to an organisation called Pentreath, which is a mental health organisation based in Cornwall. On the Lawrence Reed show yesterday, a man came on talking about Man Down, which is a charity set up in Cornwall which identifies the need. I think I mentioned it yesterday. So that got some airtime, so that's really good. This one is the National Autistic Task Force, which is an organisation that actually helps people more in social care. But I've got in touch with them, and hopefully they're all run by autistics. And if there's an opportunity to work with them, and then I would like to do that, because I would like to advocate for other autistics, whether that be people that are on the high functioning end or the low functioning end, but certainly autistics that want to live an independent life and struggle, basically, because a lot of us do. And I've worked with a lot of autistics in my time as an autistic and didn't know I was autistic. So in 23 years I've probably come across a lot of people with autism and dealt with the frustrations of being on the receiving end of autism and not really understood it from a personal perspective. So it does affect us all. So yeah, going back to employability, there is not a lot out there. Like I said, certain organisations do. Pentreath, there is another organisation that offers some form of help, and I can't quite remember it off the top of my tongue, because again, another aspect of autism is your working memory is very poor. So sometimes I write things down, so I'm doing these memories winging it, so I'm doing quite well. Normally I have a list of things and kind of prompts me, and as you see I go off topic, and again that's another, your brain drifts and I forget where to come back to. So employability, so from me personally, I'm still discovering that, but I have also discovered that although I've done care work, I was kind of forced into it as an environmental factor, and it's not something that I really wanted to do. But my personal popularity in terms of people recognising me, remembering me, liking me, I suppose, I'm not bigging myself up in any way, but that probably forced me to go down the route in the work that I do in care work. It's a difficult job, it's taxing. I've always thrown myself into it in a person-centred, very, very person-centred way, extremely person-centred, very immersed. But after 23 years, I do want out. I want to get out. I want to try something different. I would like an organisation that would take me as a person and find my Aspie talent, because apparently there is one in there. Apparently I do have Aspie talents, Asperger talents, autistic talents, and I would like to discover those more. I do write, so if anyone's watching this, I have a book. I don't think I have a link to the book on here, which is a book I wrote 10 years ago, and I write poems. So that's another kind of talent I suppose I do have for writing. So that's a form of communication. Maybe that is my talent, I don't know, but I'd like to sort of explore that better. Like I say, it's in some ways it's a bit like going back to school and finding out what you're good at. That's where I am at the minute. So yeah, so that's what I've always done. But I've always been quite flexible, adaptable. I can learn a skill, I can learn new skills. The house that I'm in, I don't think there's a room that I haven't had an influence on. We've lived here 13 years and it's not burned down, it's not fell down. This particular room in here, which is my kitchen, this used to be a lounge. That staircase there, I built that from scratch. Those beams there, I put those in. All that plastering and around the windows, I did all that. The tiling, we're not going to say anything about tiling, it was crap, but I did all that. So I'm kind of like, I suppose in terms of Aspie traits, I have probably got quite a few. But I don't advertise it, I never do. But that's kind of what I've done. So I suppose I have got some. But I'd like to explore the other ones. So I'm going to leave that one today, because I think that's kind of a bit... I covered quite a lot in that topic. Organisations and help and things. Yeah, so we'll leave that there. So, again, if anyone's got any topics they want to talk about, maybe, I don't know, maybe school, love life, I don't know, anything, just drop a commenting box and I'll see what I can do. So, yeah, I've lost that a bit. I might need to do these a bit more structured, like a lesson plan. So, we'll see how it goes. But comments, that's what I need. Cheers, thanks, bye.